नमो नमस्ते गुरवे महात्मने विमुक्तसंगाय सदुत्तमाय नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे भूम्ने सदा पारदयाम्बुधाम्ने नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य हरि that's subject. So we'll start with the Shanti mantra of Mundaka Upanishad. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः
स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः
स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः
व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः
व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः
स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः
स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः
स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः
स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः
स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः
स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः
स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
So today we will do from the last shloka of this chapter 2.2.11, that is the second chapter, last mantra. ब्रह्मैवेदमृतं
ब्रह्मैवेदमृतं
पुरस्ताद् ब्रह्म
पुरस्ताद् ब्रह्म
पश्चात् ब्रह्म
पश्चात् ब्रह्म
दक्षिणतश्चोत्तरेण
दक्षिणतश्चोत्तरेण
अधश्चोर्ध्वं च प्रसृतम्
अधश्चोर्ध्वं च प्रसृतं
ब्रह्मैवेदं विश्वमिदं वरिष्ठम्
ब्रह्मैवेदं विश्वमिदं वरिष्ठम्
ब्रह्मैवेदमृतं पुरस्ताद् ब्रह्म
ब्रह्मैवेदमृतं पुरस्ताद् ब्रह्म
पश्चाद् ब्रह्म दक्षिणतश्चोत्तरेण
पश्चाद् ब्रह्म दक्षिणतश्चोत्तरेण
अधश्चोर्ध्वं च प्रसृतं ब्रह्म
अधश्चोर्ध्वं च प्रसृतं ब्रह्म
अधश्चोर्ध्वं च प्रसृतं
अधश्चोर्ध्वं च प्रसृतं
ब्रह्मैवेदं विश्वमिदं वरिष्ठम्
ब्रह्मैवेदं विश्वमिदं वरिष्ठम्.
So it is saying that uttarena cha adha cha urdhvam prasitam brahma prasitam idam varishtham vishvam brahma eva. This last line had been translated in different manner in different places, but I would like to follow this. I will explain why. He says that whatever we are saying, idam amritam brahma, that this immortal brahma, all these are immortal brahma, that is whatever is in front, purastat means in front, paschat means back, on our back, dakshinataschottarena, to the dakshina, right side, and uttara, left side. Adhaschordhvam, upward and downward. Prasitam, it is all pervading. That is, no direction is left, all the directions are Brahman alone. Everywhere it is pervading. Then he says, idam varishtham vishvam brahma edam, brahma eva. Now it can be said, idam vishvam varishtham brahma eva. That is, this whole universe, the whole creation is the supreme Brahman, varishtham Brahma. But Brahma is supreme, Brahman is supreme, this we have been saying. By saying particularly, we don't gain anything, because so many times we have said. But when it is taken as idam varishtham vishvam brahma eva, then it means something deeper and applicability, the application oriented. What is that? We are always, our focus is always on the Vishwa, on the world, on the universe. The huge, the creation with all its infinite variety, unimaginable activities, speed, energy, whatnot. We are fearful about this Vishwa. We are always constricted. We feel small about ourselves, as if the Vishwa, the world, is overwhelming us. Forget about the world. We are overwhelmed by small sentiments. Forget about the greatness of the creation of the galaxies and all. We need not think about that. We are overwhelmed by small sentiments. Every day we are getting overpowered by fear, expectation, intolerance, love and whatnot. Small love. So, when we say that this idam varishtham vishwa, for us actually Brahman is not varishtham. In Upanishad we are repeatedly saying it is varishtham, that the Brahman is the supreme, it is the Shrestha, it is the including everything, it includes everything. But for us actually the Vishwa, the world is Varishtha. The world is always overpowering us, and the world is huge. We don't think that Brahman is like that. We are reading, we are pondering over it, we are doing manana, or we are thinking about it. But it doesn't strike our mind as Varishtham. If it strikes our mind as Varishtham, then will we be always entangled with the small sentiments, small desires and small gains and whatnot, that whatever we are doing throughout the day, selfish aims and all. When it strikes really Varishtham, then nothing of the world will be able to affect us at all. When we understand that the Brahman, which is the whole universe, that Brahman is within me, when we understand that, then will the world be able to overpower us? Forget about small, small sentiments. Nothing in the world will be able to overpower us. So, the meaning that way is more appropriate, that idam varishtham vishwam brahma eva. That the huge world which we are enamored of, the huge world we are entangled in, the huge world which is attracting us and scaring us also, that world is nothing but Brahman alone. That meaning strikes much more. Now, when we say that everything is Brahman, then what does it not always create a question arise? Will there not be a question within us that how can we work, how can we interact in this world? Can it be possible that when I am doing something, we are working in the machine, or we are running a company, we are either as servant or as the manager, we are getting into the train, into the aircraft. How can we think that this aircraft is Brahman? So everything is Brahman. Why should we get into the aircraft? We can remain here. Such philosophy, these are the philosophical thoughts which misleads us. The meaning is not like that at all. Everything is Brahman means the whole, as I have repeatedly said, the whole universe is an appearance on the consciousness, on Brahman. Now this appearance meaning does not strike us deeply. That is why the Shankaracharya and others, they emphasized again and again that mithyatva of the world, the illusoriness of the world. Why it is called illusory? It is not in the sense usually we understand, but it is illusory. It has been repeatedly stressed because it is next to impossible to get rid of the overpowering of the world. Well, when you think of the dream, suppose you have dreamt something. You have dreamt of a huge mountain. You have gone to Amarnath or somewhere, the huge Himalayas or Kailash Parvat, or you have boarded an aircraft, or you are going around, or you are fighting a great war like Arjuna. All these things you have seen in the dream. And in the dream you were scared also. You were attracted, you were scared. Now, was it not the whole dream world was nothing but your mind? It was constituted in your mind, but it was as real as your wakeful state. There, when you were dreaming, it was overpowering you equally. But was not it all a play in the consciousness? You were lying on the bed, nothing happened anywhere, but you were moving around in the same kind of a huge world with huge interactions, huge activities and whatnot. But when you understand that all these were affected by the mind, similarly, so when we understand this through knowledge, understand means our behavior will immediately change. It will not be clinging to small, small things. It will not be always clinging to personal gain, thinking that if I get this, then I will become happy. All those delusions will go. That is why our Upanishad says, Atma Krida, Atma Ratihi. That he becomes playing within his Atma. He has Rati, the enjoyment of joy, only in Atma. Because he knows that it is all a play in the Atma. So the change is, what change should take place in our mind and intelligence? We should be very clear, discriminating and sharp about it also. Otherwise we will make mistakes. In Can you show the slide of Aparokshanubhuti? This is from Aparokshanubhuti by Shankaracharya, 116 and 117 verse. 2 slides are there. The first one is Drishtim Jnanamayam Kritva
दृष्टिं ज्ञानमयीं कृत्वा
Pashyet Brahmamayam Jagat
पश्येत् ब्रह्ममयं जगत्
Sa Drishtih Paramodara
सा दृष्टिः परमोदारा
ननासाग्रावलोकिनी लोकनी
ननासाग्रावलोकनी
सा दृष्टिः परमोदारा
सा दृष्टिः परमोदारा
ननासाग्रावलोकनी
ननासाग्रावलोकनी
Drishtim Jnanamayam Kritva, transforming the vision into one of knowledge, knowledge of the truth, not just knowledge, theoretical knowledge. To make the vision into vision knowledge oriented means that vision should orient all our activities, all our sentiments, all our mind, thoughts, everything. It should change our life. Transforming the vision into one of knowledge, of truth. See the world as Brahman itself. See, Shankaracharya is clearly saying that it is not a vision of your eyes. Don't think that everything will be, it will have some bizarre picture. The whole world will, for a knower, the whole world with its color and fragmentation will not appear like that to the knower. But he will not be trapped by anything of the world because he knows that it is a play in the consciousness. Through his knowledge he knows. Sadrishti. So, drishtim jnanamayam kritva pashyet. Pashyet, pashyetam, pashyeyuhu. It is bidhiling. That means you must, you ought to. One ought to. Brahmamayam jagat. You see, everything is Brahmamaya. That is all the differential vision. They are only appearance. The truth is the substratum, the Brahman on which they appear. Sadrishtihi paramodara. That is the supreme expanded vision, and not that which is directed to the tip of the nose. Sadrishtihi paramodara na nasagrau avalokani. Nasagra avalokini. Not that vision which is looking at the tip of the nose. You know that in yoga and all, people practice that kind of a concentration, looking at the top of the nose. So in this section of Aparokshanubhuti, you will find it's very interesting. All the yoga procedures he has explained in terms of knowledge. At least you should read the translation and understand. Everything, dhyana, samadhi, niyama, yama, asana, everything. What a knowledge practitioner should do. He doesn't practice the physical yoga. What all these yoga mean, the yoga procedures they mean for the knower, that is there in this chapter. Exactly, I don't remember the shloka number. This is somewhere from there. So, paramodara, udara means lofty, expanded, free. All these are, you remember in Bhagavad Gita, udara sarva evaite jnani tu atma eva me matam. That all these devotees, they are all lofty, but you know that the jnani is the supreme. Why? He is like my Atma, he is like my own. Now, who is like Krishna? Whose vision is universal vision. There is no division, no difference in anything. Everything is Atma. So the jnani's vision also is paramodara. Sadrishtihi paramodara na Nasagravalokini. Nasagravalokini. Avalokini means looking at the tip of the nose. So in yoga, we may look at the tip of the nose, focus our drishti, our external physical side to the top tip of the nose. But in jnana practice, jnana pursuit, our focus should be on the Brahmamayam Yagat. Everything is Brahman. So where the eyes are looking or not is not the point. The buddhi is established in the Brahman. That is the same pursuit of Bhagavad Gita Buddhi Yoga also. The next verse in Aparokshanubhuti, same, similar. Drashtridarshana drishyanam
Drashtridarshana drishyanam
viramo yatra va bhavet
Viramo yatra va bhavet
Drishtistatraiva kattavya
Drishtistatraiva kartavya
Nanasagravalokani
Nanasagravalokani
Drashtridarshana drishyanam Drashtridarshana drishyanam
Drashtridarshana drishyanam
Viramo yatra va bhavet
Viramo yatra va bhavet
Drishtistatraiva kattavya
Drishtistatraiva kartavya
Nanasagravalokani.
Nanasagravalokani.
See, it starts, then translation you see, all this is ba. That is, in the first one, what is he saying? The drishti jnanamayam kritva. That is the fully knowledge pursuit. That is your vision, your mind, your intellect, your attention, your awareness should be always on Brahman. Now in the second one he is saying that when in the meditative pursuit also, it is not to, we are not supposed to look at the tip of the nose, but what has to be done? Drishtis tatraiva kartavya. The vision has to be fixed there, where drashtri darshana drishyanam viramo yatra bhavet. Drashtri darshana drishyanam viramo yatra bhavet. In our seeing there are three parts of it. The seer, the act of seeing, that is seeing, and what is seen, the sight, the vision. So seer, the act of seeing, and the seen, these three are always there, as long as we are looking at something different. Now, don't consider it always as a physical seeing. Even when internally we are observing a thought, I am different from the thought. One thought has come, A thought has come, gone, B thought has appeared. So I am not A or B, I am seeing the thoughts coming and going. So I am the seer, the thoughts are the seen, and the act of seeing is the function that our mind is doing. So there are three, it is generally referred to as triputi, the seer, act of seeing and seen. This division, it is called triputi. So he says, drashtri darshana drishyanam. Always there is, whether it is a thought, whether it is an external object, whether it is your anger, an emotional thing, always this threefold division will be there. As long as we are in the objective ken and we are not in the aparokshanubhuti, these three differences always will be there. So he is saying that you look for the subsidence of this triputi, of these three divisions. Viramo yatra bhavavet. Virama means cessation. One should direct one's inner vision to that alone, where the seer, seeing, and the seen cease to be, and not to the tip of the nose. I just thought of giving these two, that what do we mean by Sarvam Brahmam, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahmam, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. That is, Everything is Brahman. This verse, the present one, the last of this section, is meaning that only. Everywhere it is Brahman, Brahman alone. But what does it mean in effect? Is it that we will not see the world anymore? No, we will see the world anymore. But it will not be able to create any possessive in us, any doership or enjoyership in us. We will not get attracted, clinging to anything. We will not hate or intolerant. We will not be intolerant about anything. Because of the Jnanamayim Drishti. Jnanamayi Drishti. When it is Ditya, so it becomes Jnanamayim Drishtim Kritva. Now, here immediately a correction comes. I am trying to do the introspection for you. The introspection should be done by you. He says that focus on that point where this Triputi, the seer, seeing, act of seeing and seen, they all get dissolved. These three divisions are not there. Now, when I am saying, or the shloka is saying, focus at that point, who will focus? The seer is focusing at that point. So you will have the idea that, well, I am focusing at the meeting point or the dissolution point of these three. Who? In that the seer also is there. Have you understood? Then in that point the seerhood will not be there. The seer, act of seeing and seen, they have all got dissolved there. Triputi, where the Triputi is gone, dissolved. Although we are saying that you focus at that point, but when you actually focus at that point, where is the seer? Seer is not there, the vision is not, seen is not there, the act of seeing is not there, nothing is there. That is called the Aparokshanubhuti or Advaya Anubhuti. That is where we discovered the Atma. So we have to be very, very incisive about these things. That they are asking us to look at, focus on that point where the seer, seeing and seen are getting dissolved. Now we try to focus there, remaining a seer. It will never be possible. You cannot do it. When you are able to do, there is no seer at all. The whole focus, it has gone. You simply get evaporated in the consciousness, in the unlimited, infinite, unchanging, imperishable consciousness. You simply get vaporized in it. Now, why am I struggling so much with these? See, if you read this philosophy and if you regularly meditate on this, ponder over this truth, and then you kick the kitten on the path, or you shout at the beggar, or you shout at your servant, or you are very careful about your own things, own possessions, but you don't take care of the public property or even the institutional property. You don't worry about the institutional property. You don't worry when you go out and use the public property, public places. Then is it knowledge? We should see, even a child we should be able to pass on this knowledge to the children also, by going into the depth of what it is meaning in our actions, in our activities, in our interactions. In our interaction, when I am kicking the kitten very, very negligently and insultingly, am I not separating myself from others? When we are not worried about whether we have given food to the animals, birds or not, they have come at the proper time looking for food and going away. How can we say Sarvam Brahman? Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma? It has no meaning at all. When we are not careful, we are always given to self-centered orientation, selfish orientations, selfish gains and all. The globe, then we cannot call it that everything is Brahman. It's not knowledge at all. So, what is happening there? When we are taking care of our own possessiveness, own property, but not taking care or even destroying others, the public property or others' property, what does it mean? Are we not violating the basic harmony of nature? Suppose for a factory, I have my factory to increase my profit, I pollute the whole atmosphere. Will not my children also will be affected? Will not the society be affected? And we are absolutely oblivious of that. So what is my mind? It is a constricted, self-gain oriented mind. Such a mind should not utter Brahman at all. That is why in our traditional case, our traditional practice, you will find even in Rishikesh and all the sannyasis, even now they follow. If somebody utters the Advaita mantra, they will say that you should not. As long as your mind is full of raga dvesha, you should not utter the Advaita mantra, at least loudly. You can do it in your mind, but never should you utter. So nowadays all the songs are available, mantras by Shankaracharya and all, Shivoham, Shivoham. But truly speaking, our traditional people will not like it. You cannot utter it loudly. Why have they, there can be various opinions, but why have they put that restriction? Because by uttering this, you are claiming something which you are not aware of. So you are missing the truth. You are missing the awareness of the truth. You are missing the universal harmony. It will come in the next section. Why am I saying about this thing? The coming section is all that. Up to this section, it has been spoken of what is Brahman, what is our Atma, what is the world, etc. Everything has been spoken of, and in the last few verses, mantras, the last day, what are the result of a person who has seen the truth in para as well as avara, in small as well as big, in bad as well as good, who sees the truth everywhere, what happens to him? That also we have done. Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshayaha shiyante chasya karmani. All this we have done. Now it will be that, well, it is very great, everything is Brahman and all. But, there is a big but. How do you bring it to your practice? That is the next section going to be. That the Upanishad will again and again tell you, this is not for a weakling. This knowledge is not for a weakling. Nayam atma balaheenena labhyaha nacha pramadat tapaso vapyalingat. This Atma is not meant for the weaklings. Why? Why they are saying? It is just a statement. No. A weakling, a mind, you might be having first rank in the exam, you might have got gold medal here and there, everywhere. But if you are not able to stand by truth, then you are a weakling. You don't have the courage to stand by truth. If you are not having enough of attention to follow the truth, suppose you are not careful about public property, but you are careful only about your materials, your possession, then what is the disharmony? The whole nature is unified. If you divide it as mine, as others, then it is against the truth. So the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad will go on correcting us in that sense also. Satyena labhyastapasa hyesha atma. This Atma can only be obtained through the path of truth, truthfulness. And what is the meaning of truthfulness? We have to understand very well. It is not just not speaking the simple lies. We have to truthful to our own mind, our own deep aspirations. We have to truthful from inside out everywhere. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo nacha pravachanena labhya na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. This Atma cannot be had by prakrishta vachana, by going incisively as we are doing here, pravachana. Pravachana means explaining each word, each letter and all. The Atma cannot be had by this. Na medhaya, you may be very, very talented, you have many other qualities, you are very sharp in intelligence. No, even then not. Tapaso vapi aling na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. You might have listened to many, many great saints and you are proud about it that I have done the Guru Sangha with such and such people. No. Yamevaisha vrinute tena labhyaha tasyaisha atma vivrinute tanum swam. You have to leave everything to embrace the Atma and Atma alone. To him only the Atma discloses its truth, its secret. Why are they saying this? It is cautioning us that don't think that just by saying Aham Brahmasmi it will be served. No. In every behavior, every action, more than that, more than the interactive, the behavior, it is in every thought. We must outlive the constricted thoughts, selfish thoughts, self-gain oriented thoughts, expectations, desires, ambitions, everything has to be overcome. Then only we will become true to our Atma. That is the Satya. From Mundaka Upanishad, our Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya had selected this mantra that Satyameva Jayate Nanritam. When the flag and the emblem was being thought about, I don't remember the year, it was somewhere in 1946 or sometime. Madan Mohan Malaviya, he was a great Pandit, great scholar, not only scholar, he was a great saintly person also. He suggested that below the Ashok Stamba we should have our emblem Satyameva Jayate from Mundaka Upanishad. How did it strike his mind? He must have thought about it. So now we will go over to the next section. It is a very interesting section. Naturally it is becoming more and more serious and important. You can know from whatever introduction I have given today that I am not going to leave you at all just by listening to the lectures. Otherwise I will be so, not otherwise, I will be so caustic that you will have to leave there is no lecture hall here, but you have to stop listening to me. Either you change or you don't change. If you not be able to receive, because it will be lashing. So 3.1.1, here actually there is, you can show the third slide, which is of the tree. This illustration is of, it's very common, very popular illustration I would say, and it is there in many other Upanishads and other scriptures also. I think even in Bhagavatam also it is there, taken from Mundaka Upanishad. That on one tree, two birds are sitting. And two birds are identical. To look at them, they almost look identical. But one bird is sitting on the, I will add my own, what shall I say, own ideas to it. The shloka does not say so much in detail, but we have to imagine in detail how it is. The one bird is sitting on the top of the tree, looking around into the sky, and also looking downward, also seeing the other birds, etc. Another bird is sitting on the lower, on a branch of the same tree, on a lower branch, where there are lot of fruits and all. Now this lower bird is eating the fruits, tasting them. Some are sweet, some are bitter, some are poisonous. He is tasting, that bird is tasting them. The bird sitting on the top, he is not doing anything at all. Upanishad says, abhichakashiti. Abhichakashiti. This abhichaksha, it means a graceful look. It means a kevali bhava. In Upanishad we have that your focus is nowhere. Generally the lower bird is looking only at the fruits. Oh, it is brilliant red. It must be very sweet. Let me see. Immediately it will prick. It is very luscious. He eats it. Then again he sees somewhere else another fruit. Immediately runs there. And maybe by that time its stomach has got already full. It has no hunger. So it waits for a little, but starts thinking that if tomorrow the fruit is not there, what will happen? If I don't eat it now, some other bird may come and eat it. See, where we are missing, just now I was speaking about universal vision. If I have had enough, should I not allow others also to have enough? But this bird is thinking that if I don't eat it now, grab it now, tomorrow it may not be there. And thereafter, if all other birds they take away the fruit, I may have to even die of starving. We go on extending our dukkha, na? We don't extend our sukha. By extending all the imaginations, then only the imaginations will be always on missing and losing and all. And creating anxiety for us. So the bird goes on eating further. Its stomach is already full. It is overeating. And what will happen? It is not harmonious behavior. It may have loose motion also after that. But it goes on doing that. In the process, he knows that his friend is there sitting above. He is sometimes looking at the top, very surprisingly, very much. To him it looks amazing that how my friend is keeping quiet, always looking contented. There is a graceful look in his eyes. But I am always greedy, I am always looking for this, looking for that. Even when I am enjoying a fruit also, my eyes are not looking that nice. My joys are different. But how is my friend sitting on the top of the tree, not eating any fruit? He is simply with a graceful, joyous look, he is looking around. Abhichakashiti, he looks around. So he thinks, and he is his close friend, almost identical looking. So he wants to go and meet the friend. But suppose he has gone one branch above to go there. By that time again he finds some new fruits over there. So he forgets about his friend. Again gets involved in all these things. Again gets involved in all the raga dvesha thoughts he was having, or the fear of losing the fruits tomorrow. So this is what is happening. I am telling you, but you can compare with your own behavior. Some satsang is there one day, you are listening, but next moment you are thinking that, oh, I have to do like this, do like this. By that time, grandchild comes, or you are invited somewhere for some award, bas, khatam ho gaya wahin pe. Greater and greater attraction. Those who are unmarried, for sometimes COVID period, could not meet anybody at all, go anywhere at all, got interested in the satsangs, global satsang and all. The moment the COVID restrictions are gone, oh, my fiancé has come, this has come, that has come, I will go to see that film, this film and all. Again the mind goes here and there, forgetting the whatever we have pointed out during the satsang, that is forgotten. And if it is so, then it will be forgotten for many, many years. So this bird also, it tries many times, maybe 100 times or 1,000 times to reach his friend. But that friend, knowing that my friend is involved in all these enjoying and relishing and also suffering from the fruits and all, he keeps quiet, very confident that the one day my friend will come up. He will no more be attracted to any of these. He will become fed up of all these things and come to me. So what happens is that one day the lower bird, it goes to that bird, and to his surprise he finds that there are no two birds at all. It was his own identity. The two birds are only we have created by our delusion. Actually the top bird is my real self, inward self, which we call either Atma or Paramatma. Atma also means Atati Vyapnoti iti Atma. That means which spreads everywhere, which is all pervading. Cannot be limited by the body, mind, personality. There can be only one Atma, cannot be two even. Two means it is limited. One will have to give the place to the other. But Atma cannot be two, because it is all pervading. Atati Vyapnoti iti Atma. So, he looks at that and finds that it is my own identity. I never knew. All have, everybody had been worshipping it. And I also have been amazed by his control, self-control, his lordliness. I have been suffering for my lack of self-control. The other day I took the fruit, overate the whatever fruits were there and had loose motion. I was suffering, crying, nobody was there to help me. All these things will go on. He looks at him and finds that all the mahima, the glory this bird has, it is actually my own glory. It is all in me. Just now I said that Varishtham Vishwam Brahma Eva, that Brahman who is manifest in my cavern of my heart, that Brahman, all those glories of Brahman that are in me. So I am not a puny bird, but I am having all the power of the universe. The whole universal play is within me. So he gets liberated. This is the story of the bird, very briefly spoken of in the Upanishad. I will now go into the shlokas. The fourth slide you can show. That is 3.1.1. I think you will be, if you, today whatever I spoke, if you can remember, you will be able to change your life. That it is not knowing the philosophy, it is not studying Kathopanishad or Mundakopanishad. First see whether we are having that universal feeling in our mind, whether we are careful to everything, the animals, the plants, the roads, the buildings, everything, whether it is mine or not, that thought will never come. If you see something is at a distress, is in distress, something is in distress, somebody is in distress, he will do the same thing as you do for you, provided that is allowed by the circumstances. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya.
Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya.
Samanam vriksham parishasvajate.
Samanam vriksham parishasvajate.
Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya.
Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya.
Samanam vriksham parishasvajate.
Samanam vriksham parishasvajate.
Tayoranyah pippalam swadvatti.
Tayoranyah pippalam swadvatti.
Anashnananyo abhichakashiti.
अनश्ननन्यो अभिचाकशीति
तयोरन्यः पिप्पलं स्वाद्वत्ति
तयोरन्यः पिप्पलं स्वाद्वत्ति
अनश्ननन्यो अभिचाकशीति.
अनश्ननन्यो अभिचाकशीति.
Two inseparable companions of beautiful plumage perch on the same tree. One of the two feeds on the delicious fruits, the other just looks on with graceful contentment. Now here, Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. Suparna means have beautiful feather. That means the birds are looking nice. Actually, and all of us, we think that I am beautiful, although it may not be recognized as beautiful, but in our mind we think that we are beautiful. So the Suparna has a little pun in it also. In Kathopanishad I had pointed out, it is the words where, what was the words? That the two words were there. One is really good, another is it is because he is yours, that appears to be good. In Bengali we have Kana Chale Padmalochana. That means if my son is blind also, I feel like he has got a lotus eye. So that is our special vision for our own people, own things, etc. Another is which is really good. That was in Kathopanishad, I don't remember now. So Suparna means a beautiful feather, good looking bird. Sayuja Sakhaya. Now these are called Asha Prayoga. Asha Prayoga means it is applied, it is Rishi's language. Rishi means the seer's language, because all the Upanishads, they are not composed really. As they see the truth, the mantras come out of their tongue. They are revelations. We call the Vedas, the Upanishads are revelatory. They are revelations. Revelations by the Satyadrashta Rishi. The seer who sees the truth, it comes out of his mouth. So in that, whatever grammar, if it doesn't follow the Panini or Vedic grammar, if it is not according to the grammar, we call it Arsha Prayoga. That is a usage done by the Rishi. So actually, according to Panini, it should be Sayujau Sakhayau, because there are two birds. It will be Divachanam. So it should be Sayujau Sakhayau. But here it is Sayuja Sakhaya. That means two beautiful looking birds who are Sayuja, means very well connected. All these words have very deep meaning. If you have been attending, if you remember my mirror example, then, or I have to tell again. What is this Sayuja? Means actually they are not different. Jnani tu Atmaiva Mematam. It is like my own Atma. Even Krishna sometimes says that, Arjuna, I am very fond of you. You are like my own Atma. So Sayuja means very well connected. Actually the two are the same. This is referring to the Jivatma and the Paramatma. We are using these two terms, Paramatma and Jivatma. Actually there are no two. Jivatma is out of our delusion, we are creating an egoistic identity that we call the Jivatma. And the whole spiritual sadhana is to know that the Jivatma itself is the Paramatma. You remember that the light coming from, the same light coming, and we have put millions of mirrors here. Each mirror is reflecting the beam. And with that reflected beam, we can see materials. That it is coming from the mirror. I mean, it appears to be coming from the mirror. Now, this secondary beam, the reflected beam, is like the Jivatma. If the mirror breaks, becomes opaque, the beam, mirror thinks that this reflected beam is coming from me. Is it true? Is the mirror true? It is not. The mirror is not true. Because the light is coming from the same source, it is everywhere there. All the mirrors are reflecting the same light, coming from the same source. But the reflected light, with that he is seeing the world. We can see the world with that consciousness, which is reflected in our buddhi, our understanding from our body. And we think that is my Jivatma, that is my Atma. Actually, nothing happens to the Atma. When the mirror breaks or our body falls, something goes wrong in the body or on the head or in the heart, the body falls. Nothing happens to the Atma, because Atma is not limited by the body, mind, personality. It is one only. All other bodies are still reflecting that Atma. So we generally call it Chit Abhasa. Chit is the original light which is coming and which is reflected by the mirror, which we feel as I in a deluded state, the egoistic I, that we call Chidabhasa, the reflection of the Chit in our buddhi, in our understanding. So here that imagery is that the two birds, one is the Jivatma, the reflected beam, and the other one is the Paramatma or the real Atma, our real identity. One is the egoistic identity, which is always identifying with the senses, sensory enjoyments, Katri, Bhoktri, Bhava. Katri, Bhoktri, Bhava, doership and enjoyship. And because of that it suffers. It has the desire, it always identifies with the happiness and sorrow. But actually the Sukha and Dukkha both we are seeing. Is it not? Now Sukha is there, a little time back it was Dukkha. So Dukkha has gone, Sukha has come, again Sukha will go, Dukkha will come. We are seeing them coming and going. How can I become Sukhi or Dukkhi? I is the observer there. The others are inert. Sukha Dukkha of the mind, they are inert, they are objects before me. I is the revealer of this Sukha Dukkha. So like that, this Jivatma, the other bird, it is always, it is not having, although it knows from deep inside the I-ness is coming. So the other bird which is standing there, this lower bird knows about his friend or his own identity, real identity, in a very rudimentary manner. He knows about his existence, but he is unable to realize that identity, unable to get anchored to that identity, which is the fate of all of us. We are not able to get anchored to the real identity. So we are getting associated with the body-mind complex, with the senses and all, and getting involved in enjoyment and suffering and whatnot, thinking that I am suffering, I am happy, I will be happy by getting this, I will be happy by eating this, etc. So when, that is why he says, Samanam Riksham Parishasvajate. Parishasvajate, this is also a special usage. It means that they are fixed to that. The two birds, they are fixed to that tree. Samanam Riksham, to the same tree, they are attached to that, fixed to that. Why? That Vriksha is the upama of the body, illustration of the body. That tree is the body. In that body-mind personality, which is the tree, we are recognizing the two identities. One is the Jivatma, which we are always knowing, we consider that to be our identity. Another is the real identity, the Paramatma, which never gets affected by anything happening in life. Throughout life it remains unaffected, and everywhere. It is not particular to one body also, everywhere that is the same Atma. This Tayoranya Pippalam Swadvati. Of the two, one is constantly, Pippalam means the fruits. It is constantly tasting the fruits. Some are sweet, some are bitter. Both kinds of feelings of taste will be there. Anashnananyo abhichakashiti. Whereas the other bird, they have not said here that that is sitting on the top looking at the sky. That is my imagination. But Upanishads, from here we can see that It is avichakashiti. It's a graceful, non-focused vision. Anashnan means it is not eating anything at all. It doesn't need. It simply sees, looking. Two inseparable companions of fine plumage perch on the same tree. One of the two feeds on the delicious fruits, the other just looks on with graceful contentment. The second one, the fifth slide. Samani vrikshe purusho nimagno.
समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नो
Anishaya shochati muhyamanaha.
अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः
Samani vrikshe purusho nimagno.
समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नो
Anishaya shochati. Anishayana. Anishaya. It is not dirgha, na? Dirgha होना चाहिए तो. वो इसमें गलत है. हाँ, it should be dirgha. I have used to that. I never noticed that dirgha is not given here. Samani vrikshe purusho nimagno.
समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नो
Anishaya shochati muhyamanaha.
अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः
Jushtam yada pasyatyanyamisham.
जुष्टं यदा पश्यत्यन्यमीशम्
Asya mahimanamiti vitashokaha.
अस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः
Samani vrikshe purusho nimagno.
समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नो
Anishaya shochati muhyamanaha.
अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः
Jushtam yada pasyatyanyamisham.
जुष्टं यदा पश्यत्यन्यमीशम्
Asya mahimanamiti vitashokaha.
महिमा
Same tree, the deluded jiva, we have used the word here jiva, it's purusha is there, actually deluded purusha. But because purusha is both, the purishete iti purusha, purnam anena sarvam iti purusha. Same purusha is used. Purusha is used for the, in Bhagavad Gita there are three purushas. The ultimate identity, the supreme real identity is purusha, and one which is the egoistic identity residing in the body, that is also purusha. So we have used the word jiva, but we can use purusha also once we understand what is that. On the same tree, the deluded jiva or purusha, drowned in ignorance, grieves helplessly. But when he sees the other, the Lord who is worshipped by all, who is that other? It is also in him, his own identity, real identity. And also his glory, that it is not only the other he has seen, the glory of that, the whole glory we are attaching to the Vishwam. Varishtham Vishwam Brahma Eva. That whole universe, our glory, we think of glory only about that. But that glory is belonging to Brahman only. That the glory we mean here is that not getting affected at all, not changing. The whole universe, everything is changeful. There is birth, death and change for everything. Only this Atma doesn't get born, doesn't die. There cannot be any change at all. Because it is nowhere in the objectude. It is not like any of the subtle or gross objects we know of. So, when he knows this glory, he transcends grief. you should immediately be able to connect. Did I not tell you from Chandogya Upanishad? Narada is saying, when Sanat Kumara came, Narada said that, give me knowledge. Then Sanat Kumara asked, whatever you know, you tell us, then we can give you the knowledge. So Narada said everything, all the Shastras, Vedangas, everything he knew. Even the magic, the Sarpavidya, everything is mentioned there, one paragraph. Astronomy, astrology, everything he knew. But saying that, he said that, Mantravidoham asmi, natu atmavid. I am only knowing the mantras of this, but I don't know who am I. Natu atmavid. But how did you say that you don't know? He says, Tarati shokam atmavid. And knower of our real identity, knower of Atma, he outlives grief. Narada said, I am grieving, always I am suffering, I am depressed, I am getting depressed. So I have heard from the rishis that a knower of the Atma will never get depressed, will never never be grieving, wailing. So you give me that Atma Jnana. So why did I say Mahimanamiti? Asya Mahimanamiti Pashyati tada Vita Shokaha Bhavati. By knowing that, I did not explain. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagnaha. Nimagnaha means completely drowned. That the other bird which is eating fruits and wrongly eating, overeating, not allowing others to eat, all these are because we are drowned in ignorance. We think I am the world, I am everything, and others have no place there. I am everything in the form, I am in others also. Then the whole vision changes. So, nimagnaha, anishaya. Anishaya means, Isha means controller, lordship. That is why we call God the Ishvara, because he has the control over everything. Anishaya means na Ishaya. That means because of his uncontrolled nature, indisciplined nature, because of his helplessness, he cannot remove his greed. He is affected by greed. He cannot outlive his greed. He is affected by passion. He cannot outlive his passion. He wants to become good, but he ends up doing bad things, ends up hurting people. He cannot control. He thinks that I will not hurt, but again he ends up hurting. This is all anisha. That is uncontrolled nature. Anishaya shochati muhyamanaha. Muhyamanaha means it has come from moha. That means completely deluded. Muhyamanaha. Shochati means he goes on grieving because of the helplessness. He doesn't know how to see, if he is a knower, he will be why will he not be affected by grief? Because of his knowledge. So everything is under his control because of his knowledge. But this Purushaha, who is completely immersed in ignorance, he always remains depressed and grieving. Jushtam yada pashyati. Jushtam means who is worshipped by all, who is respected by all, given a Shrestha Pada, like the top bird which is unaffected, everybody will look for him, that what is the great thing he has got. See, when a person becomes fulfilled, people around, why do they come to him? Because they find that here is somebody, we don't know what he has got, but he is always cheerful, he never gets depressed, he never behaves in a constricted manner. What is this magic? What is this greatness? What is his greatness? So they start worshipping him, coming to him, so that they can get a little of it. Jushtam, that is why they say Jushtam means respected by all, worshipped by all. Yada pashyati, when he sees that worshipped Anyam, Isham, the other bird who is completely in control of his nature, because he is not eating the fruits, Asya mahimanamiti. Not only that he sees the bird, the controller of everything, but he sees his glories also. Where lies his glory? That he is not attracted by anything. He is not intolerant about anything. And I am his close friend, but I am forgetting him always because of my attraction and repulsion. That also doesn't pain him. He doesn't seem to be affected by that also. Actually, he is not different. He is there. That is what we say that we are playing in the world, but our real identity, the Atma, is waiting for us to come back to his lap. That when will your play be over? When will become fed up of these worldly games and come back to me? Come, I am waiting for you. And when we really come back, we get the bliss of the Atma. Woo, as I said the other day. Woo is the expression. Pashyati anyam isham mahima asya mahimanamiti vita shokaha. He outlives grief. So we will continue, we will chant these two verses once more and then stop. Dvasuparna sayuja sakhaya.
Dvasuparna sayuja sakhaya.
Samanam vriksham parishasvajate.
Samanam vriksham parishasvajate.
Tayoranyah pippalam swadvatti.
Tayoranyah pippalam swadvatti.
Anashnananyo abhichakashiti.
Anashnananyo abhichakashiti.
Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno.
Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno.
Anishaya shochati muhyamanaha.
Anishaya shochati muhyamanaha.
Jushtam yada pasyatyanyamisham.
Jushtam yada pasyatyanyamisham.
Asya mahimanamiti vita shokaha.
Asya mahimanamiti vita shokaha.
Hari Om Tat Sat. In Kathopanishad, if you remember, there the sentence was Dhatu prasadat mahimanam atmanaha pashyati. Dhatu prasadat. When does he see? Here also he says, but not only he sees that controller worshipped one bird, but asya mahimanamiti. He realizes the mahima, the glory of it also. How do we realize the glory? There is a reply is in Kathopanishad. Dhatu prasadat mahimanamatmanaha. Can you tell the shloka number? That it is by the purification of the elements of our being. That is why we are always stressing on the purification of the mind, purity of the intelligence. It is by the purification of the elements of our being. Dhatu prasadat mahimanamatmanaha pashyati. Shanti mantra. Om bhadram karnebhiः shrunuyama devaः.
Om bhadram karnebhiः shrunuyama devaः.
Bhadram pashyemakshabhiryajatraः.
Bhadram pashyemakshabhiryajatraः.
Sthirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhih.
Sthirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhih.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh.
Swasti na indro vruddhashravah.
Swasti na indro vruddhashravah.
Swasti na pusha vishvavedah.
स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः
स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः
स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः
स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः